It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling.
In 1970, a new voice was heard across Canada, a voice full of gravel and beer, funny, fierce, unlike any other, Stompin' Tom Connors.
Now from Charlottetown or from Summerside, they load him down for the big long ride. He jumps in the cab and he's off with the brides so big old. He's got to catch the boat to make Permentine, and he hits up that old New Brunswick line. To Montreal he comes just a-flying with another big load of potatoes.
I was orphaned very young. I have some faint memories of hitchhiking with my mother on the road when I was less than 2 years old. The authorities eventually took me away from her, put me in an orphanage, and then I got adopted from the St. John Orphanage out to Skinner's Pond, Prince Edward Island.
Yeah, the cops have been looking for the son of a gun that's been ripping a tire off the 401. They know the name on the truck shines up in the sun. Green Gables. But he hits Toronto and it's 7 o'clock. When he backs her up again, the terminal's lock, and the boys gather round just to hear him talk about another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig. They're from Prince Edward Island. They're from Prince Edward Island.
I always had the bent for writing, and then as I traveled around, not having any place to go back to, I had to constantly be on the go. I always wanted to be a drifter and roam the country and see what it was all about, and so I jumped freights and hitchhiked, and as time proceeded, I kept writing songs, and then I amassed quite a number of songs, and I used to sing them at parties or wherever I could, or sing them for rides in cars in the back seat or wherever it may be.
Because he's got another big load of the best doggone potatoes that's ever been growed. And they're from Prince Edward Island, from Prince Edward Island.
We wandered around like that until 1964 when it all began in Timmins. So I was wandering along by the Maple Leaf Hotel, and I think I had 35 cents in my pocket, and the beer was 40. So I wandered in anyway, and so I asked the guy when I found out that it was 40 and not 35, if he'd put another nickel with it and give me the beer anyhow. So he says, well, if you play that thing, sing us a couple songs and maybe we'll even give you a couple free beers. So I just sat there at a table and took out the guitar and sang several songs. So he went and got the boss and says, hey, we got a guy out here that's not too bad. Let's set him up in a corner. There was no stage or anything in there, but let's set him up in the corner, and he sings pretty loud.
Now when Mary Ann and Mabel come to join us at the table and tell us how the bingo went tonight, we'll look up right. But if they want the money, we'll be laughing up the honey boys, 'cause everything is funny for it's Saturday tonight. Yeah, the girls are out the bingo and the boys are getting stingo. We think no more of bingo on a Saturday night. The glasses they will tickle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we think no more of bingo on a Saturday night. Figure out the
I just felt that I was doing what there was a very great need for in this country. There was hardly any songs about Canada, and I remember when I did hear the one or two, it made me feel, it stirred me inside it gave me a sense of pride of my own country when I heard the odd song that had been out about the country. So I thought, hey, if that will stir me like that, there must be a lot of things to write about that would stir other people, and I found out that was true.
We think no more of bingo on a Saturday night.
I've often been accused that my lyrics are not sophisticated, and they're crude, and they're this and that. Well, they're meant to be that way. They're definitely meant to be that way because it's in the vernacular of the people whom I'm singing about. If I'm singing about miners, then I have miners' phrases incorporated into the song. If I'm singing about tobacco workers, it's the same thing. Wherever I'm at, if I'm singing a song about Newfoundland, I'm going to try to sound as Newfie as I damn well can.
You might think it's goofy, but the man in the moon is a Newfie, and he's sailing on to glory, away in the golden glory.
For some reason, radio has been telling me since day one that I don't fit their format. So if I haven't fit their format since 1964, it makes me wonder, do they ever change their format?
Away in the golden glory.
It's come to mean a great deal to me I wish that radio would sort of smarten up and play the artists of this country. Why should we have to leave here to get known somewhere else before radio in this country will accept us?
It was this perceived lack of support from the music industry that caused Tom to leave the business at the height of his career. He disappeared into a self-imposed exile that lasted more than 10 years. It began the day he returned his Junos in March 1978.
I called a press conference. It was my first and only press conference, and I was nervous as hell. I had never done this thing before. The import of what I was doing was such, I thought it required something like that. So I just packed all my Junos in a box and said, here, shove them.
Tom made his triumphant return with a show at Toronto's Matador Club in 1989. He met a whole new generation of Canadians ready to embrace his grassroots nationalism.
I'm not back for the sensationalism in it or the glory. The main reason why I'm back is that if I can one more time say to the industry, look, the talent in this country needs that opportunity. When a Prince Edward Islander leaves Prince Edward Island and goes to the mountains of British Columbia, and you see thousands of miles of them, of the same kind of things that you have seen in pictures from Switzerland, who promote their country like all crazy to the world, and we don't promote ours, I say, hey, are these my mountains? I'm only from Skinner's Pond, PEI, and these mountains are mine. They belong to me. And I'll be goddamned if I'm going to let anybody take them away from me. And so no matter where I go, if I'm in Quebec and I see that damn Chateau Frontenac and all this, I cry. My heart bleeds for those people. I'm a Canadian. I'm a Quebecois. I'm just as much a Quebecois as I am an Albertan. I live and breathe the country. So to be proud, I'm proud of myself, ain't I? So if I'm proud of myself, I have to be a proud Canadian. Simple as that.
Goodbye, Jim and Jackie. Goodbye, John and May. Hate to see you leaving, bound for the USA. But if you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else. I know the times are changing, factories closing down. If you'd only stay and help us, we can turn these things around. But if you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else. And while our politicians divide our precious land, we speak in French and English, but they still don't understand that if you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else. Now if you find your heaven where stars and stripes are flown, you'll learn to stand more proudly than you ever stood back home. And they'll tell you that your country must come before yourself, or you'll have to serve your country by living somewhere else. So goodbye, Jim and Jackie. Goodbye, John and May. We hope that you'll be happy living in the USA. 'Cause if you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else. If you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else.
Putting a twist on tradition when we return.